Welcome to KR Films Entertainment Channel. Today I am going to explain a 2022 action war film Sisu. The Second World Conflict is coming to an end in 1944. The Moscow Armistice, which Finland and the Soviet Union signed, commands that Finland to dismantle the Nazis and deport them from Lapland. The Nazis execute a destructive strategy and demolish any villages, towns, bridges, and highways that are situated in their town. Former Finnish commando Copy has made the decision to leave the conflict behind him and has settled in the remote areas of Lapland. Copy continues scanning for gold at the river along with his obedient dog and his robust horse, refusing to give up until he discovers just a little particle of gold. A sign that he is headed in the right direction. Now knowing he has proof, Copy starts digging cuts across the location, disregarding the aircraft flying overhead, and joining a battle he doesn't want to be a part of. Eventually, after spending a few days digging useless holes before, he discovers a legitimate gold uncovered and breaks down in tears, breaking the precious find into sizable nuggets. He conceals them within his tent. He spends the whole night watching to make sure he won't be robbed. The following morning, Copy loads all of the gold into a bag and rides out with it, closely trailed by his faithful dog. A short while later, he unexpectedly encounters a troop of Nazi soldiers under the command of General Bruno, accompanied by a tank and a truck carrying captive women. Soldier Wolf shamelessly exploits their situation. Despite this, Copy remains unfazed, continuing his journey on horseback. Only shares a brief glance with Bruno. Wolf desires to shoot him, but Bruno stops him, recognizing that Copy is riding toward his imminent demise regardless. While Copy progresses along the road, he encounters lifeless bodies left behind by the Nazis, yet he remains unafraid. Eventually he stumbles upon a truck occupied by 4 soldiers who demand he dismounts his horse. Curious about the bags, they discover the hidden gold, believing they can claim it for themselves. Sensing the impending danger, Copy strategizes and instructs his dog to flee. In a desperate attempt, one of the soldiers aims to shoot the dog, but fortunately, dog evades the bullet. The soldier insults Copy, calling him Grandpa, and attempts to shoot him, but Copy swiftly retaliates, and swiftly stabbed him with a deadly knife strike to the head. The remaining soldiers seek revenge and engage in hand-to-hand combat, but Copy's speed and skill allow him to overpower them. He stabs them while using the fallen soldiers as shields against gunfire. Copy defeats one soldier using a helmet as a weapon and cleverly neutralizes the last soldier by twisting his arm and turning his own gun against him. Upon hearing the gunshots, Bruno and his comrades return to the scene, discovering only the bodies of soldiers. While inspecting one of the bodies, Bruno unexpectedly uncovers a hidden gold nugget in the soldier's pocket. This discovery compels him to pursue Copy. Shortly after, the Nazis locate Copy on the road, prompting the tank to open fire. Skillfully drive his horse, Copy evades the barrage of shots, narrowly escaping unscathed, and he unknowingly enters an unknown minefield. Bruno commands his men to cease fire. Meanwhile, Copy steps on a mine, and Bruno laughs, assuming he has got effortless victory. Unexpectedly, the explosion mostly injures the horse, leaving Copy wounded but alive. As he regains consciousness, Copy bids farewell to his faithful horse and prepares for a counterattack, despite feeling dizzy. As the Nazis approach, Copy quickly retrieves the spilled gold that was earlier fall out from the bag. Bruno notices this and instructs his vehicles to stop, patiently waiting for Copy to collect the gold to avoid risking their own lives. After Copy finishes, Bruno commands his soldiers to open fire. But Copy is prepared. Along with the gold, he also grabs a rock and hurls it at a nearby mine, triggering a powerful explosion. Copy cleverly utilizes the smoke created for concealment, while protecting himself from the Nazis' gunfire using his panning plate as a shield. As the Nazis continue to shoot randomly, Bruno dispatches a young soldier to assess Copy's situation. Regrettably, a mine strikes the soldier directly in the face, leading to a fatal explosion kills him. Subsequently, Bruno instructs 2 soldiers to cautiously proceed along the sides of the road. Tragically, both soldiers inadvertently step on mines. As the smoke evaporates, they realize that Copy has disappeared. Determined to pursue him, Bruno decides to employ 2 women to walk ahead as a safety measure. Wolf selects the most fearful one, prompting Ino to step forward and volunteer in their stead. While Bruno investigates the surroundings, he discovers Copy's dog tag. Shortly after, the group proceeds forward, with the 2 women positioned in front of the vehicles. Bruno utilizes the tank's radio to inquire about Copy's and receives astonishing information. Their superiors order them to stop the pursuit, reminding them of their fortunate survival thus far. It turns out Copy was the most feared commando in Finnish history, and people avoided getting involved with him. Devastated by the loss of his home and family to the Russians during the Winter War, he transformed into a merciless and vengeful soldier who obeyed no one's orders. Recognizing the futility of attempting to discipline or govern him, the Finnish forces opted to dispatch Copy on solitary missions, where he ventured alone into the wilderness hunting down Russian patrols. Copy evolved into a formidable one-man killing machine, accumulating a staggering record of over 300 Russian kills. He earned the moniker, Kashi, referring to him as the Immortal. While this tale fails to intimidate Bruno, he remains undeterred in his pursuit of Copy. Motivated by his desire to acquire the gold and secure his freedom from impending punishment, since obviously the Nazis are clearly on the losing side of the war. Continuing his journey, Copy eventually discovers a charred truck containing a lifeless body. Taking advantage of its wreckage as a shield, he positions himself behind it and tends to his wounds. With a knife as his tool, he extracts any embedded bullets and conceals the bullet holes by covering them with dirt. Unexpectedly, his loyal dog appears, maintaining a safe distance while obediently keeping an eye on Copy. Copy dozes off but is abruptly awakened by noises after a few hours. The Nazis have arrived, accompanied by tracking dogs assigned to locate him. Acting swiftly, Copy takes cover under a burnt truck, silently observing as the Nazis pass by. He becomes aware that the dogs have picked up his scent, indicating that he is being pursued. Copy waits the moment as the final truck passes, swiftly underneath it and clinging onto it. Taking decisive action, he punctures the fuel tank, causing the cascading gasoline to interfere with the dogs' sense of smell, rendering them unable to track his scent any longer. As the soldiers pause to strategize, Copy seizes the opportunity to flee. Regrettably, the keen-eyed dogs quickly spot him and bark, exposing his whereabouts. A soldier successfully shoots Copy in the leg, yet he keeps going in his escape. In response, Bruno commands the dogs to pursue him. Without hesitation, Copy ignites a match, setting fire to his gas-soaked clothing, which frightens the pursuing dogs. As the soldiers continue their pursuit, Copy takes a daring jump into a nearby lake. Bruno instructs his men to wait patiently for Copy to resurface for a breath of air, but he takes a considerable amount of time due to his special lung capacity. After Copy resurfaces from the water, the soldiers mistakenly believe they have successfully shot him, as blood stains the surface. Seizing this opportunity, 3 soldiers board a boat and venture towards the center of the lake, intent on locating the hidden gold. However, as one soldier dives into the water, Copy unexpectedly ambushes him from behind, swiftly eliminating him with a lethal knife strike. With only blood visible on the water's surface, Bruno instructs the second soldier to investigate underwater, yielding the same result. However, the third soldier, overwhelmed by fear, attempts to flee in the boat, which is considered an act of betrayal. Consequently, Wolf shoots the soldier. Seizing the opportunity, Copy takes possession of the soldier's body and utilizes it as a shield while he flees, causing the soldiers to fire aimlessly. Sadly, Copy's loyal dog arrives but is unable to cross the water to join its master, prompting Bruno to discern his next move. After a tough journey of hours, Copy eventually reaches the nearest town, only to be devastated by the sight of it wash out in flames against the night sky. Exhausted and unable to continue, Copy seeks refuge within a ruined gas station, grappling with the pain in his leg as he attempts to find sleep. However, the agony triggers haunting visions of the day he tragically lost his family. Just as he manages to sleep, his nap is abruptly interrupted by the sound of barking. Eager to be reunited with his dog, Copy emerges only to find a lit dynamite stick attached to the collar. Swiftly removing it, he throws the explosive away, but the resulting blast is in such close proximity that it knocks Copy to the ground. After Bruno and his companions take the bag of gold, Bruno teases Copy by sneaking a nugget into his pocket as a sarcastic gesture. After Bruno and the others depart, Copy remains steadfast and positions himself on a nail attached to the signpost, using it as support. In an act of extreme determination, he even presses his injured leg onto a second nail, enduring immense pain. Nevertheless, this excruciating act enables him to survive the entire night, while his faithful dog patiently remains by his side. In the morning, a plane lands near the station, causing vibrations that make the signpost bend, leading to Copy's fall to the ground. 2 pilots step out searching for fuel, and one of them discovers Copy and his barking dog. The second pilot suggests shooting both of them, but Copy resists and kicks the pilot in the legs. As a result, the pilot loses balance, hits his head on debris and dies. The dog's persistent barking prompts the first pilot to investigate, creating an opportunity for Copy to ambush him from behind, rendering him unconscious with a brick. Filled with despair, Copy believes all hope is lost and decides to bury the nugget left by Bruno. However, at that very moment, the second pilot realizes he is still alive. Recognizing the potential usefulness of the pilot in the plane, Copy retrieves his gold and devises a plan. With the horrified pilot as a witness, Copy proceeds to extract all the bullets and fragments of metal embedded in his wounds. He endures the searing pain of cauterizing them with fire and seals them shut using wire before cleaning them with gas. Together he and the pilot depart on the plane, regrettably leaving the loyal dog behind. Eventually the Nazis are forced to halt their progress upon encountering a roadblock caused by a crashed plane. Wolf and Shitsi discover the dead pilot in the plane, with Wolf's rope unexpectedly around his neck. Realizing it's a trap, Bruno grasps the true terror of Copy and hastily commands his men to depart. Meanwhile, two soldiers accompany the women in the truck and Aino chuckles upon hearing their discussion. She clarifies that the soldiers won't succeed in what many Russians died attempting and reveals that Copy isn't truly immortal, but simply possesses an unyielding determination to survive. In Finnish they call it sissu, a term representing a tenacious courage and indomitable determination. Copy embodies the spirit and never surrenders, leading Aino to believe the Nazis will soon meet their death. Suddenly one of the soldiers abruptly dies, and as the other soldier peers outside, he is forcibly pulled from the truck and met with a fatal encounter under the wheels of an approaching tank. Aino attempts to seize the weapon from the deceased soldier, but just as she does, Copy enters the truck and swiftly retrieves the weapon before her. Upon realizing that these individuals are innocent victims, Copy allows Aino to keep the weapon. Subsequently, Copy ascends to the top of the truck and lethally stabs the driver through the roof, removing the body so that Aino can take control of the steering wheel. Aino steers the truck towards the tank, allowing Copy to leap onto it. Sensing the tank occupants feels something suspicious, the girls manipulate the dead body like a puppet, creating the illusion of normalcy. Aino then drives the truck closer to another vehicle transporting the majority of the soldiers. The girls swiftly open fire, eliminating all the soldiers, while Aino takes down the driver. As the truck veers off the road, the tank occupants realize the threat and accelerate in response. Copy, who is still positioned on top of the tank, forcefully strikes the door with his pickaxe, causing the tank to abruptly stop in an attempt to dislodge him. Wolf emerges from the tank, ready to open fire on Copy. However, Copy swiftly ascends back to the tank's roof, engaging in a fierce hand-to-hand battle with Wolf. After exchanging brutal blows, both combatants tumble to the ground, while the tank departs, leaving only Bruno and Shitsi inside. Copy continues his assault on Wolf, landing additional strikes. However, before he can deliver a fatal blow, two other soldiers arrive on a motorcycle. Upon seeing Copy, the two soldiers quickly identify him as the legendary figure and flee in fear. Copy seizes the opportunity and takes the motorcycle, giving chase to the tank. For a brief moment, Wolf believes he is safe, but his relief is short-lived as the vengeful armed women arrive on the scene for revenge. Eventually, the tank comes to a stop to meet with a pilot who possesses a functional plane, however there is only space for one person. Without hesitation, Bruno ruthlessly kills Shitsi, securing his place alongside the pilot. But their escape is abruptly disrupted as Copy appears on the bike, opening fire right away. Copy smashes the plane's windows before it takes off, then drives underneath with his pickaxe raised. Bruno glances down and assumes they left Copy behind as the bike moves, unaware that it's empty. Unveiling his resourcefulness, Copy clings to the plane supported by his pickaxe, surprising everyone. While attempting to change positions, Copy's grip slips, nearly causing him to fall. However, he clings to a wheel and proceeds to break a hole in the bomb room's floor using his pickaxe, making his way inside. Hearing suspicious noises, Bruno becomes doubtful of the pilot's explanation that the plane's age is to blame. Curiosity piqued, Bruno investigates the source of the sounds. Just as Bruno opens the door, Copy springs upon him, initiating a fierce brawl. In a brutal exchange of punches and kicks, Copy's superior skill is overshadowed by his severe wounds, allowing Bruno to overpower him. Frustrated by Copy's refusal to give up or show pain, Bruno resorts to using a static line to inflict more damage, wondering why Copy won't die. As Bruno attempts to strike with the metal end of the line, Copy swiftly intercepts it, gripping it with his hand and connecting it to the bomb before releasing it. The resulting explosion occurs as they both crash to the ground. With the immediate danger behind him, Copy yearns for a moment of respite. However, his desire for rest is abruptly disrupted by the plane's violent shaking and descent. It becomes apparent that the pilot, tragically struck by a stray bullet, has met his demise. In a desperate bid for survival, Copy seizes the bag of gold and secures it to himself just before the plane hurtles into a swamp, causing yet another explosion. Meanwhile, a Finnish unit prepares to launch an attack, after spotting what appears to be a German tank approaching. However, to their surprise, it turns out to be Aino and the girls, who have Wolf bound and tied to the cannon. After the plane crash, Copy finds himself in a swamp. Thankfully, the water in the swamp helps him survive and he uses his pickaxe to climb out, holding onto the bag of gold. Several days pass and Copy successfully reaches the city of Helsinki, riding on the Nazi bike accompanied by his loyal dog. Entering the bank, Copy's presence instills fear in everyone around. He confidently places all the gold nuggets on the front desk, requesting large bills instead, as they would be easier to carry due to their lighter weight. Thanks for watching.